The most powerful thing you've ever held. It doesn't exist. Money. Touch it, count it, stack it, then watch it vanish the moment trust fades. That's not substance. That's belief with a barcode. The walls of this maze aren't stone. They're made of promises, and promises only live as long as someone believes them. Stop believing, and the walls don't vanish. They just stop pretending to be doors. Last time, we wandered through the first corridors of this labyrinth, the illusion of wealth, and understood how the maze of economics isn't evil. You just need to map it and learn to navigate it in your favor. You acknowledged how poverty isn't absence, it's misdirection, and how ignorance, the lack of financial literacy, is the costliest debt of all. Today, we dissect the illusion called money. From barter to gold, from gold to paper, from paper to promises, to see how value became movement, how motion became debt, and most importantly, how you can turn the maze's rules for your own benefit. Welcome to the labyrinth, the oldest machine still in service, a system that converts serious human effort into motion, motion into money, and money back into motion. The place where value circulates like blood through invisible veins. You call it an economy. I call it metabolism, the ancient engine that converts faith into function. Work becomes wages, wages become spending, spending becomes motion, and motion becomes survival. It doesn't need guards, it just needs you busy. Because when motion stops, so does belief. Let's study its architecture. Money wasn't born rich. It began as a whisper of trust. Before coins and credit cards, there was only barter, the first form of faith. You had something, they had something else. If your needs aligned, a trade was born. No symbols, no screens, just hands, goods, and timing. A fisherman offering his morning catch, a baker lifting a loaf still warm from the fire. They smile, nod, trade. Value exchanged by scent and weight, not by number or code. But barter had a flaw. It depended on coincidence. What if the fisherman had fish, but the baker had already eaten? Trade dies when timing disagrees. So humans invented a bridge, a story to carry value across time, a token, a stand-in for trust, something you could hold today and redeem tomorrow. That story became currency. At first it was shells, then metal, then gold. Gold was beautiful because it didn't lie. It was rare, heavy, honest. It couldn't be printed or promised. But gold was slow, and the labyrinth doesn't like slow. So humans did what humans always do. They replaced substance with symbols. Paper became gold's shadow, a promise printed on confidence. At first, every note whispered, "Somewhere in a vault, gold waits for me." And people believed the paper because the metal was still there to anchor it. They passed those notes from hand to hand, trading trust instead of treasure. But the labyrinth noticed something. The gold stayed still, and yet the paper kept moving. So the maze asked itself, why keep the metal at all when belief moves faster than reality? Then numbers replaced paper. Now, the labyrinth doesn't need metal, paper, or even digits. It just needs you to keep believing the screen. You think your salary is money? It's not. It's digital ink your bank owes you, and your faith in that system is the collateral. Lose the faith, and the maze collapses faster than any wall of stone. Gold once backed belief, now belief backs everything. The currency isn't the dollar or the euro, it's trust. And that trust is the thread holding the labyrinth together. Gold made money honest. Paper made it convenient, but banks made it powerful. You see, gold could only exist once. Paper could only promise once. But a promise to return gold? That could exist 1,000 times. And that's when humans discovered the magic trick called fractional reserve banking. A banker realizes if 10 people deposit gold, not all 10 will ask for it back at once. So, he lends 9 portions out, while the gold still sleeps in his vault. He just created new money from old confidence. 10 coins become 100 notes. 1 promise becomes 10 debts. Trust begins to reproduce. But here's the trick. The new money isn't gold. It's obligation, a network of faith circulating faster than any metal ever could. Money became motion itself. The labyrinth learned how to run without walls, without corridors, just by keeping everyone chasing what they're owed. And every coin born from debt carries an invisible twin. Its shadow called interest. Borrow 1 coin, return 1 coin, plus a fraction more. But where does that fraction come from? It doesn't exist yet. So the maze must create even more money to pay for yesterday's promises. That's the hidden engine of your economy. Debt births money. Interest keeps it running. It's not a flaw, it's the design. A perpetual motion machine powered by faith and deadlines. And as the system grows, so does the illusion of prosperity. Loans become homes, debt becomes lifestyle, credit becomes identity. You don't earn to live anymore, you borrow to exist. The maze doesn't need to chase you. It just needs to keep you running, 1 payment behind and 1 dream ahead. That's why money supply must always grow. Because if it ever stops, the illusion ends and the labyrinth starves. Recessions aren't accidents, they're hunger pains. The maze slowing down to digest what it created. Humans call it a crisis. The maze calls it a diet. And when faith returns, the feast resumes. That's how belief, multiplied by math, became the bloodstream of modern civilization. Money stopped being a mirror of gold and became a reflection of trust, moving faster than reason and deeper than understanding. You check your balance more often than your pulse. That's how the labyrinth knows you still believe. Once, humans trusted gold. Then they trusted paper. Now, they trust numbers glowing on a screen. A century ago, you could hold your wealth. Today, it lives as electricity, a digital whisper between servers. Banks became temples, screens became altars, and belief, it became code. When you tap your card, no coin moves, no vault opens, just numbers reshuffling themselves, like shadows changing owners. You call it payment, the maze calls it synchronization, and you worship it daily. You check your balance, your portfolio, your net worth, as if the digits themselves hold truth. But digits have no loyalty. They serve whoever believes in them most. Think of it. Your entire economy runs on ledgers, mathematical gossip shared between machines. Zeros and ones deciding who eats, who waits, who wins. And yet those numbers only live as long as electricity flows. Pull the plug, and the entire illusion sleeps. Humans fear losing money, but money doesn't exist to be kept. It exists to move. Stillness kills it. Circulation gives it life. That's why your markets never sleep. That's why banks breathe interest. That's why inflation never stops. The maze must keep spinning or collapse under its own reflection. Even governments learned this dance. They print, they promise, they borrow, just to keep the pulse alive. They call it stimulus. The maze calls it resuscitation. But here's what most humans miss. The more digits exist, the less each one means. That's inflation in its purest form, trust diluted by abundance, not the price of bread rising, but the value of faith falling. And in that momentum, humans found comfort. You stopped asking what money is, you only ask how to get more. You no longer believe in value, you believe in valuation, not wealth, just numbers. You can't worship the gods of digits and complain when they demand infinite offerings. Money isn't metal, it isn't paper, it isn't even real. It's belief pretending to be value, a faith so deep you don't even remember praying. And as long as you believe, the labyrinth keeps earning interest on you. So how do you make belief work for you instead of feeding it? You don't destroy the maze, you learn its rhythm, its pulse, its logic, its appetite. And then you make it eat for you, understanding flow. Money moves like water. It flows toward activity, never toward stillness. If you let it sit, inflation evaporates it. If you guide it, it carries you. Track it, map it, know where every stream begins and ends. Budgeting isn't scarcity, it's navigation. The maze can't trap the one who knows every turn. Compounding. You can't outrun time, but you can recruit it. Plant 1,000 coins at 6% a year. After 1 year, 1,060. After 10, 1,790. After 30, 5,740. That's compounding. Interest earning interest. Time working for you instead of against you. The lost chase more hours. The wise multiply the hours they already have. You don't need brilliance, you need patience and consistency sharper than greed. Inflation versus return. If your coin sleeps, it dies, not by theft, by erosion. At 3% inflation, your savings lose half their power every 24 years. That's the labyrinth's quiet toll. So if your return doesn't outrun inflation, you're walking backward, even while moving fast. Make the rate of return your compass. 6% isn't wealth if inflation eats 3. You don't fight the current, you just need to swim faster than it drags you. Leverage. Now, the dangerous art, leverage. Debt is a summoning spell. Call it without purpose and it chains you. Summon it to create and it serves you. The lost borrow to consume. The wise borrow to build. A loan for a car that rusts, a leash. A loan for a tool that produces, a lever. The difference? Direction. Credit multiplies motion. Pull it in the wrong direction and it multiplies regret. But pull it in the right one and it multiplies freedom. Risk. Every gain casts a shadow. Risk. Pretend it isn't there and it will devour you. Diversify your exits. One corridor floods, another stays dry. That's not fear, that's geometry. Risk can't be erased, it can only be redirected, and the maze respects those who draw maps before moving. The final thread. The maze still spins, but now it spins for you. Belief built this labyrinth, knowledge redraws its map. You can't kill the illusion, you can only learn to see through it. And when you do, the numbers still move, but now they move for you. The labyrinth doesn't vanish when you understand it. It simply changes shape. The walls that once confined you now mark the boundaries of what you own. Money isn't evil, it's obedient. It does exactly what you train it to do, no more, no less. And faith is the pulse behind every transaction. Without it, digits turn to dust. With it, even nothing can buy everything. You were never meant to destroy the illusion. You were meant to learn its rules and write your own. Understand flow. Master compounding. Respect risk. Command leverage. And remember, faith isn't free. It demands awareness. The maze still moves, but now it follows your rhythm. Next time, we'll trace the hands that pull the threads, those who built the system, those who guard it, and those who profit from your belief. Until then, spend with clarity, invest with intent, and remember, the exit isn't a door, it's a decision. Understand the maze, then own it. Subscribe. Don't wander lost in the labyrinth.